suplex that robot! This is a TrimUI Smart Pro. I've covered it in the past. Really awesome ARM-based handheld device. It's kind of like, in my opinion, one of the perfect sizes because the screen is big and beautiful, and that's such a big deal for me. This video is not necessarily about this. It's about the operating system that's on this because this doesn't come with the stock OS. MechDIY, they decided to take this, and they've done this with some other devices, and put a better version of the operating system on there. It's an open source operating system. You can install it yourself. That's the beautiful part. Or you can just, grab one from them and it'll come with everything you need. This video is not sponsored, but they just messaged me and told me, hey, our Christmas sale is going on, so check it out. 15% off site-wide. CM15 is the coupon code. This is going on until December 26th. I'll put a few links down in the description to the different products, so head down there and run over there while they've got the sale going on. I use OEM keys for a few different reasons. This is the price you're going to pay for Windows 11 Pro if you get a retail key. Let's check those prices on whokeys.com. $30, we can do better. Put in TS25, click apply. There we go, $23.22. Let's say you want to get a copy of Windows 10 Pro. Let's click on buy it now. Coupon code TS25, hit apply, and watch that price come down. There we go. The other thing is OEM keys are generally locked to your hardware. So if you move it from one motherboard to another, you may need to get another key, but you'll have to get many keys to equal the price of one retail key. If you need Office, you're also going to be able to get those same deals. 25% off on Office 2019 and 2016. These are offline versions of Office without monthly fees. Let's go ahead and check out with our copy of Windows 11 Pro. All right, just put in my card info. There we go. Click on View Keys and Codes. Once you get to the User Center, click on Get the Key. You'll see your key right here in the middle. Go ahead and highlight that, copy that, hit Start, type Activate, click on Activation Settings, paste it in there, click on Next, and you will be activated. Also, everything over here is on sale and TS25 is going to work. So head over to whokeys.com. Thanks to them for sponsoring. And now on to our regularly scheduled program. Here's the way it works. You get Crossmix OS. You can go over here to GitHub yourself, grab this, put it onto a FAT32 formatted SD or micro SD card, and just pop it in there and it'll work. But I want to talk about how it works. If you don't want to mess around with that, or if you don't have a TrimUI Smart Pro yet, get it here. I'll give you some deals, number one. And number two, they're going to give you one of these. And it comes with Crossmix OS pre-installed. And you want this. Like, if you're going to get this, you want Crossmix OS. I'm going to go through this in detail with the handheld. We'll sit down and start going through the menus and everything, but I'll give you kind of a top level view right now before I do that. Your default installation of RetroArch, it comes with a few emulators, but they've loaded this up with 100 plus emulators. The autosave functionality is really cool. Like right here in the middle of playing a Mario ROM hack. This is Mario's Missing Done Right. It's actually a Luigi game. I'm having a ton of fun with it. If I turn this off or whatever, it comes right back up. If I close it, I have autosave. It can actually open back up right here and then load the previous quick save. There it is. So the save states are awesome. That's one of the things they've done. They've updated some of the cores that were already there. So you have better versions of cores that are more fine-tuned for this hardware. You have cores that were not on there before, including Dreamcast. And it's got a few Dreamcast games. You can put some Dreamcast games on there and a lot of them work. Sometimes they're a little bit slow, but some of the games actually do work okay. You got some new overlays, you got new backgrounds, icons, boot logos, shortcuts. You can customize your shutdown screen, and it's very important to note Polish language support. They have not forgotten about the people in Poland, like most of the rest of the world. They put together a very nice ROM set. When you're browsing through there, everything's organized very well. Let's talk about a couple of different apps that come on here, because these are not the emulators. They also have some apps that are on here. And of course, you got your media players and stuff like that, file browsers. There's a terminal window you can browse to in here, but they've also included a PlayStation analog detector that will make sure that whenever you're running a game that has the analog support, it'll enable that so that you can take advantage of it. Also, I just went into the RetroArch menu and set it up so that even the games that don't have analog support, I set it up so that my left analog over here just mirrors this, so I can just use this for all the games. It works. You can turn that on and off on a per game basis. So I wanted to put a bigger memory card in there because 128 is enough, but I wanted all of the PlayStation games on there. It tells you what to do to get this all set up and running, but I didn't do this. What I did was just come down here and go to the installation, and it says use FAT32 to format. It tells you what to do. So you can just format your memory card to FAT32, which you'll need to do this because Windows cannot do it for whatever reason. I have no idea why. You can do this. There's also the Mini Tool Partition Wizard. It's a GUI that's free and it works really, really well. So you can use that, or you can use this. Format it for FAT32. And then after you've done that, I just copied my 128 gigabyte card onto a 512 gigabyte card, and it worked. If you're not going to do it that way, you can just copy everything and just go through the instructions here and just basically copy all your stuff onto the disk. If you don't have Crossmix OS already installed, the first time you plug it into your Smart Pro, it'll take a longer time to boot up. It'll just install some stuff and just leave it alone. It does everything in the background. It's the easiest installation I've ever done. And now I have 2 of these with the Crossmix OS. The music's on. Turn down the volume a little bit. Last time I did this, it took like 2 hours because I kept getting distracted by all the games. So what we're going to do is just go through the UI, show you what's different. Well, show you a few things that are different. First off, when you open it up, you just come up here to the emulators page. And there are a lot of emulators. There's over 100 emulators on here, but I think right now you only see about 50. And that's because it only shows you the emulators that you have games installed for. And this is the layout. I like the fact that, opposed to the original TrimUI UI, now we have 2 layers. So just a little bit of a difference here. And I think it's a great improvement. And as you can see, some of these emulators are quite esoteric. Now, as you go onto the SD card and add more ROMs, more emulators will show up. And on the SD card, they've already set up all the different folders, so it should be pretty self-explanatory. You just go in there, throw your ROMs on there, and then when you come back in and rescan, new emulators will pop up and like, hey, this emulator's here now. I'll just go through and just let you see just a few of these different emulators. Take a look at that. There's even DOS games on here. The DOS situation is pretty cool. If you have like a gamepad or something that supports Gravis or direct input, it usually just works. Now, when it comes to the crazier games like Betrayal at Krondor and like the RPGs and stuff, I've not figured out how to get a mouse and keyboard working. However, we do have USB up here, and I have seen some people on the internet say that they've gotten USB stuff to work, but none of my stuff worked. I might just need a different type of adapter, and maybe some firmware updates will allow us to use just general mouse and keyboard. I'm not sure why we can't, because it's basically just Linux under the hood, and it'd be really cool if I could plug in a mouse and keyboard and play some old DOS games, but alas, I haven't been able to. Again, some people online say they have, even with Bluetooth stuff, so who knows. You can also plug in just a USB controller or whatever, like an Xbox controller. I tried some, but I don't think I have the right adapters for this, because that's Type C and then my stuff's Type A. But I tried hubs and everything, but I don't have a direct adapter. So I'll continue going through the emulators. At the end of the video, I'll show you the different hardware. I want to stop on just a couple. PSP performance, just fine, works really well. As far as the N64 goes, I think a lot of people were wondering how's the N64 performance? Well, I tried Banjo-Kazooie, which is a very demanding game, and that one worked just fine. Hey, look, it's the ZX Spectrum. Everyone in England, how do you feel about the ZX Spectrum? All right, yeah, ZX Spectrum, there you go. You got that on here? I don't know this system very well, so hey, Amiga, that's something I do know. Far superior to the ZX. I'm sorry that that was all you had. I think you had the Amiga over there too, but yeah. C64, all kinds of computers. I think I'm just scrolling around at this point. Daphne, that's the stuff like Dragon's Lair. I'll show you how the dual screen games are set up right now in the Nintendo DS, because that's important, but right out of the box they have a clever way to set this up, and one of the things I like about this is we have a widescreen. Normally a 4:3 screen would probably be best for emulators, but the widescreen allows us to do things like, see everything on the screen at one time when you're playing a DS game, and it's also good for some of the, emulators, the PSP and stuff that are widescreen, so you do get a bit of a benefit there, and then for the rest we just have like sidebars or, sometimes like a frame or something. Neo Geo games work fine. We have MVS and regular Neo Geo, like the console and the arcade. All right, now there's something here called ports. I want you to take a look at this. So RetroArch has something called PortMaster, and it's not installed on every device I've seen, but this one comes with it pre-installed, and they have a whole bunch of games pre-installed. So what is PortMaster and what makes it so special? Well, these are native ports of different games that are brought to this platform, and you can go onto their website, and there's all kinds of different ports that you can find, and you can just put in your device. There are tons of games that are natively playing back on this device. That means you're going to lose some of the emulation features like the save states and everything. You'll be playing the game natively with the native save system. But this also means no lag. It's playing natively. So it's just like this console. So it's just like the game was made for this handheld console. And there's all kinds of things. It's kind of insane. Let's try Quake 3. I know Quake works, which is amazing for this little handheld. Let's see how Quake 3 works. Oh my God, Quake 3 works. I need to turn up that sensitivity. I am not good with these things. Is that somebody over there? Where's everybody? God, I cannot play with this thing. So anyway, you got all kinds of native games on here that work perfectly, including a native port of Super Mario 64. All right, let's go ahead and just go through some of the other menus right here. Here it shows our recents, our favorites. You can set that up. And we have our best. They have created a bunch of collections here of just the best shoot 'em ups and the best Mario games, whatever, Sonic collection. They've created these collections for you, and you can create your own collections if you want. Now we also have apps. So the function key setting, I'll show you that when we go through everything else. Moonlight, this allows you to stream from your computer to this device. So you can play your games like your Steam library, your GOG library, or whatever's installed on your computer. Just install Moonlight, and then you can stream it to this device. You got a media player, you got your USB storage manager right here. Emu Cleaner, you just run this and it removes any emulators that don't have any games. Change your bootloader, file manager, don't need to worry about that. There's our PortMaster, you can change your settings there. I'm not gonna go too deep into any of this stuff. Then we have our scraper. This is pretty cool because it looks through all of the different games that you have and automatically finds the information about them and also gives you a thumbnail. So just run that after you've imported all your games so you can get all the fancy thumbnails and everything. Got a screen recorder there. And then we can actually exit into RetroArch. Now, when you exit into RetroArch, we got terminal as well if you want to get really nerdy, but so when we exit into RetroArch, there's going to be some settings in here, and you can change these if you wanted to. Like you can come in and change a lot of the things here, but I would not recommend changing any settings here. If you want to change just the video drivers or some configurations or maybe even set some CRT filters or something, you can do that. But the best way to do that is to not do it inside the RetroArch menu, because this will change things on the entire system, and that can get a bit weird because, you know, we're using RetroArch as the back end, but we're also using this overlay. So the best way to do this would just be like while you're playing your game, just set up while you're playing your game, go into the options, set your options there, and then save an override specifically for that game or for that console. Above and beyond apps, we have NetPlay, and we've got our settings here. You can turn on your Wi-Fi, mess with your display settings. Let's see, mess with your key map. Right now, I'm just gonna leave it alone because I'm using this key setup. Change your themes, and then you got mess around with your system settings and everything. Now let's go into the emulators. Now they've loaded this thing up with all kinds of things. They've even got folders for hacks and stuff. So you've got some cool, you know, Metroid and Mario hacks and all that. Let's go ahead and load up a Mario Kart hack right here. But I'm gonna show you how the menu system works. So once we're in here, we've got our menu button over here. You click on menu, and then right here, we've got our save menu and our load menu. So you can do save states. And then we have our advanced menu, which brings you right here to the RetroArch menu. And that's where you can come down and do some overlays and stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on some shaders, get some CRT effects going on right here. Load a preset, and we got our shaders. This is OpenGL, so we got shaders, GLSL, CRT, and then I'm just gonna go down to something fast, like ZFast CRT. There we go. Now I've got some shaders going on here. All right. So I thought it was going to be the same track as the other one. That's pretty cool. So we got new tracks to try out here. All right, let's go back out of here. Now different emulators, some of them have different menus and such. Let's say maybe you want to see a Dreamcast game. Sure, I'll show you a Dreamcast game and then we'll get out of here. There's just so much on here. It's kind of overwhelming, and I don't want to overwhelm myself like I did the first time. Let's try a little Jet Grind Radio, which I have never played. Beautiful. I'm so glad there's a Dreamcast core in here, because that's not something that comes standard with RetroArch. Our name is just Gum. This is feeling kind of 90s. All right, it seems to be working just fine. I don't know what I'm doing, but it works. I have no idea what I'm doing. All right, it works. And then we can always just come over and go random. This is a really cool feature actually, because so many games and so many things that you've never played. What if you discover something? I'm playing something on the ZX Spectrum, are we? All right. While we're here, I'll just give you a quick tour. On the top there, we've got our USB, and this is not for charging. That's your host USB. You can plug it up to whatever else. There's our volume, power buttons, L and R. Not too poppy or clicky. They feel pretty good to me. Position, it's up to you where, if you think they're in a good spot or not, whatever. There's the front, and of course I have the retro style, like the Nintendo paint job or whatever, the original Famicom style with the weird maroon and tan. Buttons feel good to me. I mean, I have zero complaints. These are a little bit flat, take a minute to get used to, but they They don't move too far, but they feel just fine. Feel really good. D-pad, I don't think I like it as much as like a PlayStation controller when it comes to like doing fighting game moves, but for moving around like in top-down games like Zelda and stuff, feels great. So a little clicky, but you know, fine. Menu buttons or whatever. Then here we go on the bottom. We've got our SD card that you put in right there, and then we have our DC input, headphones for when you're on the bus. Unless you're in America, you want to make sure that everyone hears what you're doing because that's important. There's our function hold. So you can have the function toggle all of these things. So I've got LED off, quiet mode, silent mode, which are two different things apparently, CPU power state, CPU performance. So whenever I turn this on, the LEDs are going to go off, audio is going to go off, it'll still go through there, so that's going to be nice for others. And then CPU performance mode to give you a little bit extra power. You can see all the different things you can toggle here, and then you just turn the function on and off to make all that work. All right, I think I've talked enough about this thing. It's cool. I like it. You know, one of the things I like the most about something like this is it actually makes me play games. I know that's weird, but a lot of these devices, I get them and I will tinker and mess around with them and like, ooh, I can hack this or I can mess with this. This one, it comes out of the box and it's already so thoughtful. Like it works the way I want it to work. I made like 2 minor changes and now I can just play. That's it. I threw a couple extra ROMs on there that, you know, some of the weird games I like to play or some games ROM hacks and stuff that they didn't include on here because it includes a lot of stuff. It just works, and I love all the ports and everything they put on here. If you get one of these or if you have one of these, let me make you a challenge right now. I know a lot of people before they go to bed, they just sit there and doom scroll for like an hour or 2 hours or 4 hours until the sun comes up. I don't know. First off, get that phone out of your bedroom and replace it with one of these and just sit up in your bed until you're ready to go to bed. Maybe play for an hour until you unwind a little bit. And watch how much happier you become when you stop doom scrolling, stop scrolling through people you've never met's lives. Stop it. This is what we had when we were younger. This is like a lot of the culture, a lot of the memories that we have, the fond memories, are from playing these old games, not from doom scrolling. It's one of the worst transitions ever. A lot of people have transitioned from being gamers to being doom scrollers. And I'm going to challenge you, if you spend more time doom scrolling than you do playing games, stop it and get back to playing games and watch yourself become a happier person. I guarantee it'll work. I kind of think I want to do more videos just showing you how different things work on here because I'm having so much fun with this. So maybe I will. I mean, you get it, you'll start figuring things out, but this is such a better operating system than what comes on the TrimUI. It's based on the TrimUI OS, you know, it's still RetroArch on the back end, but it's just such a better experience. The other thing that's really cool is say you go in and you change a whole bunch of RetroArch features and functions and settings and you screw everything up. Don't worry, just go back in and you can restore the default. They've got a default on there. And if that doesn't work, we'll just go to the website, grab the default config file. And if you, let's say you like mess it up so bad you can't even get it to open up to the main screen or whatever, that's fine. Just take out the SD card, put it in your computer and delete the config file, put it back in, it'll generate a new one. You'll lose a couple of your configs for RetroArch, but your main screen will be just fine and it'll be back in there. So it's really easy to customize and you don't have to really worry that much when it comes to like messing around. This is obviously the best way to play games on the Trimui Smart Pro. It's an awesome operating system. I really like it. Thanks very much, MechDIY, for putting this package together, and thanks for sending this over. If you want to grab one of these yourself, we'll just head over here and do it. Now, if you just don't want to install your own thing, or maybe you need a memory card, well, you can just grab only the memory card right here. So right here, only card. There you go. You can get it that way if you want to, but it comes in 3 different colors, or that, however you like. If you got to grab a card anyway, I mean, may as well, you know. I'm not sure how much these cards are by themselves. If you can get this same card for 20 bucks, then maybe I'm wrong and just grab it and do this. This is much easier, but it's nice that they have that available if you're just someone who wants it quick and easy. Why not?